What do you think is the power of having students share their COVID-19 stories?
I think that's a question for the students. And, the reason I do is because to me, the power of the whole project and really the impetus behind the whole project is all about hearing their voices. And so for me to answer that question, I think is almost a cheat. I'm really curious to hear what Jesus and what Arianna say about their experience writing and their experience in terms of the feedback they've gotten from people, their parents and maybe some other teachers.
It was surprising. It was like, are we actually gonna write a book? But then when I actually had to think about what I'm gonna write about, it was quite easy because I lost my coach and I lost my season. As a senior, I lost so many things. I lost so many experiences that the year was just beginning to get good, and I lost all those experiences. It was really eye-opening because I had to take a step back and take myself out of the situation and really analyze how the situation affected me personally and mentally and emotionally. And it was just eye-opening to be able to do that. It was also relieving in a way.
I wrote about my dad because he got sick during the whole pandemic, not with the virus, but he had to get heart surgery. So he was in and out of the hospital several times during this whole quarantine. Thankfully, he's home now. He's doing well. So actually writing about him and my experience made me feel better. And I'm happy that I got to share it with other classmates because they reached out to me and they made sure I was okay. And then even reading all my other classmates' stories, I had no clue that this stuff goes on in their lives. You don't know. I think that their lives at home are normal, but then I read their stories and I'm like, wow, that's really sad. So it's nice that we got to use our voices and we got to speak up. And it's nice to know that, we're not alone. Everyone goes through stuff at home. Honestly, I was excited because I've never written a book before or anything. So and I was confident that with Mr. Adler, he's a great teacher, that it would become it would be a really good book. So I was excited. I can write a story and then others can read it. So I hope it gets big one day.
I was, like I said, surprised, and I was also hesitant to share my story because my story was pretty much talking about how in the beginning when COVID was first being mentioned and they were having all these meetings with the students about, oh, we might close the school, so in case we do, we have to do A, B, and C. I was still getting ready for my season. March 13th was the last day of school. That was supposed to be my first scrimmage. I was gonna have colleges come and see me play. So I'm not even paying mind to this. I'm not paying attention to it. I'm just going on with my season and trying to get ready. I'm thinking, all right, we'll be closed for a week, we'll be back. So I was really dismissive of it. And being that I was the time period that everything took place, it was weird because coach came down with it. And when he died, I held myself accountable for his death in a way because I felt that because me and my teammates were dismissive of the situation, I always asked, the question always came to my mind, what if I gave him the virus? You know what I mean?
I've grown up getting everything handed to me. My dad did everything for us. So, I feel I feel those roles have changed. Now my brother and I have taken that step, and now we're doing all that work. So, this year, my dad, we wanted to surprise him when he got home from the hospital. So we did the entire yard. We set everything up. We put out the umbrellas, the tables, the chairs, and we even set up the pool. It took days, and my dad would do that in a day. And I remember standing there with my brother, and we were trying to figure out how to do the hammock. And I'm like, how did Dad do this? What would we do without him? I don't know how to set this up. I have no clue.
To listen to both of them, to Jesus and to Arianna, talk about the choices they've had to make and the things they've had to do, it just fills me with so much pride. But in addition to filling me with pride and making my heart swell, I want them to know how powerful that is. And I want them to never forget that they are the hero of their own story. And I think in both cases and in both stories in the book, I think you really see that. And I think that, my wish is that they never forget it.